It is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. And the fact is that originally it's, oh yeah, we're looking towards everything. Then they had to double down. They actually redacted this statement. They redacted a statement. They redacted the statement saying we're looking at everything. Saying, no, we're actually not looking at most of the stuff. We're looking at a lie spread on social media that went viral. We are looking into a literal lie spread on social media that got spoken into fact. We're looking at a lie.
Angel Reese, who has been enjoying the drama, had to blink twice after the WNBA handed Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever such a preposterous punishment. Did the league just reveal its true nature? Or is this just another episode of Let's Confuse the Fans for ratings? Spoiler alert, this league's story twists are better than a soap opera penned by a coffee-fueled raccoon. Get ready for something fiery, nasty, and hilarious.
The WNBA. This has to be the most pathetic professional organization I have ever come across. This has to be the most unprofessional organization I have ever come across. This league would definitely not succeed without Adam Silver saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. Without David Stern saying, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money, here's more money. This league would be gone. And that's what happens when you don't need to think logically, when you don't need to think like a business, when you can continue to put activism at the forefront because daddy's going to continue to pay your bills. You're allowed to get off the rails. You're allowed to say whatever outlandish stuff you want to say because it doesn't matter. You'll never fail.
Can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball player, refs got it right. Move on.
If you've ever wondered what professional basketball would look like after being filtered through a human resources department handbook and a kindness-themed Pinterest board, look no further. Let's talk about the latest sitcom-level drama starring none other than Caitlin Clark, the golden child of real basketball talent, and Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed villain of the court who seems to think every arena is her personal WWE ring. The WNBA is that glittering league of competitive mediocrity where rivalries are considered hate crimes and passion dies.
Okay, so I didn't hear anything outside of the run-of-the-mill booing. But the WNBA seems content to follow through with this ridiculous investigation. Who is the WNBA going to let control their pocket strings, their pocketbooks? Because it seems to me like the new fans are the ones that's funding this whole league now. I mean, we make up about 70% of the fans overall. Otherwise, yesterday's game would have been watched by about 400,000 people, maybe. It probably got watched by what? Upwards of 2 million? I mean, does the WNBA want to lose Caitlin Clark fans? Because I think as much as people want to support Caitlin Clark...
Imagine this Caitlin Clark, the queen of clutch high IQ plays and a true basketball knowledge, making a cunning tactical move and going in for what can only be called the most courteous, well-executed tackle in recent WNBA history. You know, the type of play you'd see in any real sport that still has a pulse. But apparently in the WNBA, if you dare touch someone, you've committed a felony.
Fans yell and fans scream and fans try to do anything they can to diminish their opponent's ability to make a bucket. And I think that it's very hard to really understand or really interpret this sound that way, at least for me it is. And I'm really, really, really hoping that the WNBA did not just announce an official investigation based on internet hearsay and outrage.
Enter Angel Reese, who chose to star in her own Fast and Furious sequel instead of simply accepting the play and moving on. She was full contact, full drama, and full-blown attitude. But here's the real kicker. That wasn't the headline, though, because the WNBA didn't focus on the fact that Angel reacted as though she were trying out for a street fight. Instead, in its infinite wisdom and complete lack of common sense, the league chose to blame the Indiana Fever fans for the incident. Caitlin simply walks away without even blinking or flinching, without yelling, and without even flinching.
You want to know why I'm so angry about this? I'm so angry about this is because how many kids are there in that audience? How many kids are there? And I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm cool with idiots online branding me as whatever they want to. But when it comes to innocent kids who just want to watch their favorite team, favorite players play basketball, and thankfully they're going to be oblivious to this. But I'm sorry, you're branding kids as dangerous. You are branding kids who are just enjoying their game, who are having the time of their lives watching this league as dangerous. This league does not want to grow. This Players Association do not want to grow. Neko Wumake, don't criticize. Watch, don't criticize. That.
So mad at how AB defended her teammate, how DeWanna Bonner spoke about the fans. They were so mad about a common basketball play in which Angel Reese admitted was a basketball play, that they went out of their way to make things like this. Unless the powers that be make some drastic changes to support our players and their fans, I don't think Indianapolis should be allowed to host the WNBA's All-Star Weekend. These people are writing emails because they're so emotionally unhinged. They're so emotionally unhinged. They've never been checked a day in their life. Their parents allow them to act like fools with no repercussion, with no consequence. Always being acquiesced to every little complaint, to every little need, to every little this, to every little that. They're writing emails to get the Indiana Fever.
The individuals who dare to cheer for their own side and jeer at someone who targeted their star player are criminals and monsters. How dare they show emotion? As you can see, rivalries are harmful, competitiveness is poisonous, and displaying any emotion other than kind clapping and Instagram-friendly smiles is completely unacceptable. Apparently, the WNBA has decided that being fiercely loyal and even slightly combative is now a punishable offense.
Hours ago, we had a situation that shook the earth. That is Caitlin Clark putting a flagrant foul on Angel Reese, and that foul arguably was probably one of the most transcendent moments in Caitlin Clark's career. To me, that moment there showed the world that Caitlin Clark wasn't backing down for nothing, and she wasn't scared to get in the mix when it comes to protecting her teammates and stopping somebody from making the basket. Well, many other Angel Reese fans have rage war against Caitlin Clark fan base by saying racial slurs online. And me personally, I'm staying out of the racial stuff as of right now. But for them to sit up there and lie and say that Angel Reese was getting called racist names during the game, I had somebody from my team sitting right behind Chicago Sky Bench. Wasn't nobody saying nothing about Angel.
The league seems to be allergic to the same thing that created sports drama rather than phony public relations drama. There is actual on-court friction, but no, we live in the WNBA's utopia, where all players are supposed to be happy, kind representatives, and any departure from that script causes an existential crisis in the front office. The WNBA would probably adore this. The story of Caitlin versus Angel, it's literally the most attention they've received since someone unintentionally activated a game while looking for the Cookery channel, but rather than allowing the rivalry to grow and, heaven forbid, generate ratings, they've chosen to smother it with a heavy layer of sensitivity and poor public relations. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has emerged as the league's Rorschach test. People see her in different ways. Some see her as a gifted athlete who is bringing the league out of obscurity, while others seem to see her as a supervillain who makes entire franchises cry into their protein shakes. If you dare to defend her, you're welcome to the WNBA blacklist, where logic goes to waste.
6 or 7 of their players have been called racial slurs for an entire day, but they're on the Indiana Fever. They don't care about those players. It's only certain players. The WNBA players, they don't want Caitlin Clark, and it's very clear. The WNBPA releasing a statement is the most embarrassing thing I've seen, because you know what? When it comes to the Fever players, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The WNBPA said something. And you know what? Their stance is clear. There's no place for hate unless it's towards Caitlin Clark or her teammates. Then it's fair game. They have made that point abundantly clear, and it's embarrassing.
Let's go back to the beginning of this, when Caitlin makes a wise move during a genuine basketball game. Angel responds as though she's been offended by although Caitlin leaves with more shame than the WNBA's entire public relations team could purchase on clearance. The league condemns Indiana fans in a statement rather than praising her poise, because it is obvious that the fans are the issue. You have to respect the WNBA's dedication to avoiding dealing with the real problem. Angel's reaction was ignored. Her post-game demeanor was just emotional, but some supporters were shouting boo in an inappropriate way. call the morals police, and shut it down. The league almost seems to want everyone to act as though competition is cruel, damages feelings, and destroys the pastel-themed image they're trying so hard to keep. They want everyone to be best friends. Instead of calling it a rivalry that is too intense, too spicy, or too much like what people actually watch sports for, what about rebranding it as spirited engagement or mutual athletic respect? Singing Kumbaya after each turnover group hugs after fouls, perhaps a mid-court tea party.
They lost sight of reality. They lost sight of what real sports is about. The fans at the Indiana Fever game yesterday, they were being fans. They booed, they cheered, they screamed, they yelled. That's it. The Angel Reese fans, the old guard, the lowest common denominator that resides in the WNBA, the nose picker, the people that scratch their butt and don't watch their hands, those people saw that Caitlin Clark hard foul on Angel Reese, and they saw it as an opportunity. They saw it as an opportunity to do what they always do, make it about race.
In this manner, no one's feelings are harmed, aside from those who are genuinely trying to enjoy the game, of course, as safeguarding everyone's sensitive feelings is always the top priority, even if it means compromising the genuine atmosphere that initially makes sports so exciting. Now, let's examine the punishment the WNBA chose to impose in reaction to the entire scandal. Spoiler alert, it's not what you might anticipate. Given the drama surrounding the incident, you would assume that someone would actually suffer some repercussions. Perhaps Angel Reese receives a fine or a severe warning for whatever aggressive behavior or demeanor sparked the commotion, but alas, nothing. Instead, the WNBA publicly humiliated Indiana Fever supporters as a major disciplinary measure. Yes, you read correctly. The crowd that dared to jeer is the target of the punishment because it is inconsiderable for fans to demonstrate such emotional investment in a game when they paid real money to watch the nerve what comes next, completely prohibiting applauding or enforcing a code of silence during games. It seems as though they want the stadium to become a silent library where the only noise permitted is well-timed, courteous clapping that is completely devoid of passion or edge. Heaven forbid someone clap or act in a way that could be interpreted as caustic or disrespectful. Greetings from the new era of sports, when supporters are the true villains and passion is controlled.
So as soon as I landed from Indianapolis to LaGuardia, New York, I got an email in my inbox relating to a WNBA statement. And to be quite frank, I was surprised to see it. I didn't think these things would be a topic this year. It's certainly not at this point, but here we go again.
And ironio, that's practically a crime scene in WNBA land these days. It seems like the league's collective sensibility is so weak that one sarcastic remark could put the entire operation in cardiac arrest. But let's not fool ourselves. This isn't just a small argument between Angel and Caitlin anymore. Rather, it's representative of a league that is desperately trying to control every single narrative and every single moment until all the excitement is sucked out of it. They want a squeaky clean, squeaky tight image polish to the point where it reflects nothing but bland corporate friendliness and government-approved buzzwords. The WNBA intervenes like an overzealous librarian, sanitizing the room until it is safe for the general public to consume whenever a juicy moment arises that is raw, authentic, or even a bit spicy. No valleys, no peaks, a monotonous flatline drone of forced politeness and flawlessly staged media sound bites, with no highs or lows. But here's an incredible concept, since that's really probably the only thing keeping anyone awake during the third quarter of yet another 52 to 48-hour snooze fest. Perhaps people do want to see rivalries, tension drama, and a little unpredictability. Fans want to feel like something is at stake, not just a clean, sanitized show.